Hello, loveys. How are we? Today is May 7th, 2025, day 11 in Commonwealth v. Karen Reed, the retrial. And I am brought to you today by the number 7. Why? I don't know. I panicked and realized I'm going on court TV at 9 o'clock. And I was like, oh, you have to be like dressed appropriately, Kim. Okay. You have to look like you're going somewhere because we're going to talk all the S until I've got to go on. I've got to get off a couple minutes early. But, so I did the hair. I put on a, I don't know, preppy sweater, and we're ready to rock and roll. Was today a day, loveys? Yes, it was. It sure was. One for the books, if you will. So let's get into it. Oh, hi, Nair Hughes from Vermont. Do you know Chloe? Have you seen her? Do you know where Ben and or Jerry live? I believe she's on a farm somewhere. And Brenda is trying to send a super chat. I don't know. I don't know what I've done. And maybe I haven't changed it, babe, since attorney Mark Betterow was here. So that's genius. Oh, pay attention. I haven't. Okay, I apologize for that. I don't know how to turn it on, and we know I can't touch the buttons right now. So I thank you. I thank you. I love you. Thank you for being here. Oh, and Jen knows that that is me. Very, very on brand. Okay, so today, one for the books. First up was who? Connor Keefe. Not O'Keefe, just Keefe. Little queefy, little shaky. There was a lot of things happening. This man touched a microphone. I felt a kinship to him. That's all I can say. He was like, oh, that's what him touching a microphone was me saying, oh. And I made a little compilation. Are you ready? Let's watch this IRL real time.
Did you have any further training after the academy?
On the job training?
Yes.
Yes.
Were you a assigned investigator in this case?
I wasn't the main investigator, but I was involved, yes.
Did you deal with any of the digital forensic evidence?
Yes.
Did you meet anybody to obtain a phone?
Yes.
Who did you meet?
I met Jen McCabe and Kerry Roberts.
If you take us back to January 29, 2022, what was your role at 34 Fairview Road that evening?
I was asked by my supervisor, Lieutenant Brian Tully, to assist in processing the scene at 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Massachusetts.
Who was there?
Lieutenant Tully, members of the Massachusetts State Police CERT team, the Special Emergency Response Team, to secure the bag closed.
If the bag is open, is it then retaped?
Yes.
Do you write on the outside of the bag?
Yes.
Why do you do that?
To memorialize the date, time when the evidence was collected. Sorry.
Trooper, is that the same item that you found that night?
Yes, sir.
Sir, you mentioned there's writing on the outside of the bag.
Yes.
You write on the bag.
Date. Good morning, sir.
Trooper Keefe, you testified that you received the Jennifer McCabe and of Kerry Roberts?
Correct.
Oh. I left my body. I was spinning on the rings of Saturn. I had no idea. What are we doing? Where are we going? Does anyone know? No one knew. So he was very nervous, and I felt badly, kind of. And Mr. Yannetti, who, as a non-consensual, almost consensual intern of one David Yannetti, attorney Yannetti, bowl of spaghetti, my guy, he was kind with him on cross. So let's get into it. We don't need to do direct because direct makes our eyes twitch. But he starts talking about Proctor and former trooper Michael Proctor and himself interviewing one Sarah Levinson, the nurse who was friends with baby Brian Albert, and she was at 34 Fairview on January 29th, 2022. So let's get into that. That's at 53 minutes. Bow, 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 bow. Let's get into it.
The device.
Okay. And on that consent form, there is a description of the item itself.
Yes.
In this case, it would have been an iPhone 11.
Yes.
Oh.
And there also is an identifier with regard to a specific phone called the IMEI number.
The International Mobile Identifier.
Okay.
Yep,
And
the
that will
IM
be included on the form as well because it identifies the specific iPhone 11 that Jennifer McCabe had, correct?
Correct.
Where are we?
The password was provided on that consent form,
Yes.
and the form was signed, correct?
Yes.
By both Jennifer McCabe and you, correct?
Yes.
Sure
And
was.
there was also a second trooper that would have signed the form as well.
That's correct.
With regard to the timing of the signing of that form, Jennifer McCabe dated it February 2nd of 2022.
Yes.
You also dated it February 2nd of 2022, correct?
Correct.
Jennifer McCabe did not list a time, but you did, correct?
I would have to look at the consent form.
Okay, so you remember,
What
you don't remember
time
what
was it?
time you indicated, or if you indicated a time, but looking at the consent form would refresh your memory?
Yes.
May I approach, Shawna?
Yes.
Babes, just kidding. This has nothing to do with Sarah Levinson. This is when he got the phones from Kerry Roberts and Jennifer McCabe on February 2nd.
And I just ask you to read that silently and then look up at me when you're done, Trooper.
I got to tell you, I wasn't noticing during actually watching this because I just had it in my ear, but he's kind of cute. I like him. He's got a full head of hair and, you know, he seems well, like put together. He's got a nice tie, nice fitting suit. You know, I'll give you A for effort, good sir.
Having reviewed that form, does that refresh your memory as to whether you indicated a date and time?
I did. Yes.
And what was the date and time that you indicated?
It was February.
What? Hello? Hello? Jesus? Tiny Jesus, are you here?
February 2nd, 2022, 12:08.
And that was the
12:08.
12:08 p.m.?
Correct. 12:08 p.m.
The document that I handed you is not an original, correct?
No, it's not.
Does it appear to be a precise copy of the original, however?
Yes.
May I offer
Oh my God.
that into evidence, Your Honor, please?
Is there an objection, Mr. Brennan?
No, subject to redaction.
Okay.
Wait a second, guys. What is it doing? Oh,
don't
see,
see
it's
it.
doing
I
this
will not.
automatically. I got to put it back up on the high internet. I apologize. I don't know why it goes down.
Now, Trooper Keefe, as of January 29th of 2022, you were colleagues in the same state police unit as Michael Proctor, correct?
I was.
At that time, was the unit called the CPAC unit or was it called Norfolk County Detectives?
I don't recall when it changed.
Okay, it's been called both, correct?
It has.
As of January 29th of 2022, there were only 10 troopers in the unit, including supervisors, correct?
He's back with he's fiddling. He's a fiddler. And then we got to go
I don't
to
know.
right here. We're going to 1 hour, right on the nose. Anytime now. Computadora, stay with me. Oh, is it me? Hello? Jesus, are you with me? I don't know why the boys are talking. I'm done. Stick a fork in me. Get me out. Oh, by golly.
And, I'm sorry, Trooper Keefe, just so we're clear, I'm not going to ask you any questions about the specifics of what Sarah Levinson said, so
Oh no, guys. Oh, I'm done. What is happening? Hold on, bear with
I
me.
just have to-
I'm calling the government. Am I still on it? What are you doing? Oh, oh, Lord. Please make it stop. What is he doing now? Oh, God, help us.
Having reviewed that report, does that refresh your memory as to whether or not you participated in an interview of Sarah Levinson with Michael Proctor on October 21st of 2022?
Yes, I don't recall the specifics, but
So when you say yes, is it your current testimony that your memory is refreshed that you were actually there?
yes,
Okay. And the two of you would have participated in that interview together, correct?
yes.
But you did not write the report, correct?
No, I did not.
Michael Proctor wrote the report, correct?
Yes, he did.
He was the lead investigator writing the report, correct?
Yes, he wrote this report.
He chose the language to use in that report, correct?
I did not have any input on how he wrote this report.
Right. You had no input. You weren't standing over him while he was typing it, correct?
Correct.
Now, other examples of, and actually, let me take that back from you if you don't mind. May I approach this?
Yes.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Oh,
Other examples are the reports on the videos that you, well, strike that. Let me start by saying this. You, or asking this, you retrieved videos from both the Waterfall Bar and Grill and CF McCarthy's, did you not?
That's correct.
You and Sergeant Buchanan retrieved the videos from CF McCarthy's, correct?
Yes,
But lead detective or lead investigator Michael Proctor was the one to analyze the video and write a report on it, correct?
I would have to see that report, sir.
Sure.
oh, he has to see the report. Okay, loveys, I have to tell you something. I am not 100% sure what is happening because if it's on the Ethernet or the Ethernet, if it's plugged in, why does it say that the Wi-Fi is still on? If it's plugged in, I just talked to the guy. I've had a guy. The guy was here. So do I turn the Wi-Fi off and just let it be the plug-in? I'm very confused. Let's just hope this works.
Let me approach.
Okay. Put your pearls on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Again, if you read that silently to yourself and look up at me when you're done.
Oh. Oh. I have no idea what we're talking about right now. All right. He and Proctor, there was no input. Okay, now we went to sidebar, but let's just try to end it. Let's land the plane with Yannetti.
And actually, let me take that back from you if you don't mind.
Now he's taking it. He takes it. He gives it back. We don't know.
Other examples are the reports on the videos that you, well, strike that. Let me start by saying this. You, or asking this, you retrieved videos from both the Waterfall Bar and Grill and CF McCarthy's, did you not?
That's good.
That's correct.
You and Sergeant Buchanan retrieved the videos from CF McCarthy's, correct?
Yes,
But lead detective or lead investigator Michael Proctor was the one to analyze the video and write a report on it, correct?
Correct.
I would have to see that report, sir.
Sure.
Thanks, babe. Okay, that feels better. And now I feel, now that I'm plugged in on the World Wide Web, or that I'm plugged in and the Wi-Fi got turned off, now it's working well. Oh, God. God help us all. Jesus, tiny Jesus, as we pray. Together forever, tiny Jesus and me. Okay, continue.
Let me approach.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope, take it back. Okay, I got nothing from him. I don't know what was done here other than the fact he is a man who took the phones, made the extraction from whom? Jennifer McCabe, and Kerry Roberts. He also was present when Trooper Michael Proctor did have a interview with Sarah Levinson. He didn't stand over Trooper Proctor's neck. He wasn't looking over everything he did. And we know that the report was used in the words of former Trooper Michael Proctor and not Connor Keefe's. He has been with the Norfolk DA's office, Mass State Police, since 2017. Thank you, Connor. And thank you for your ability to cut a bag. It took you a while, but you got there, pal. Okay. Now, here we go. We're going to this wild moment where we find out that the one and only Jessica Hyde, your husband's Hyde, your
I say
son,
it's not relevant.
she had been denied in the SJC ruling of a Massachusetts case and a Maryland case, and she was unable to be a expert witness. And Robert ALESSI, part of the Reed team, gets up and says, "Hey, babe, I'm going to cross the shit out of her. I'm about to make her dance for her dinner," is what he said. It was crazy. And I go, oh, clutched the pearls. The butthole was absolutely puckered. I had no way to move forward until I found out that Judge Cannoni gives absolutely zero fucks. Well, per usual, she does not give a shit. A single shit cannot be found on the bench with Judge Beverly Cannoni. It's very ironic because you would think that Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo, would have enough shit all around. But yet there are no shits to give. Continue. This is all OJP.
That doesn't go to the admissibility in my cross. I'm entitled to cross her on her reliability. And if I put Your Honor in the state Herrera decision, if Your Honor would look at page 3, please, at the bottom, the paragraph, it says, in assessing the reliability of an expert's methodology, I get to do that on cross. It's not limited to a Daubert hearing. Every expert can be crossed on the reliability of their methodology. And lastly, with regard to the Apple source code, if Your Honor would please turn to page 6, the last paragraph, it says the issue raised in this case stems from the fact that Apple's algorithms are proprietary and the expert did not have access. That's exactly the situation here and what I want to cross her on. So in conclusion, Your Honor, the fact that how she tried to get around the Apple source code for methodology in the Herrera case, she got Daubertized on because it wasn't reliable. That's exactly what I want to cross her on, is her reliability, how she's trying to get around them. In this case, it's just basic cross-examination.
Daubertized. Can I say that 3 times fast? Absolutely not. Do I love to hear Robert ALESSI say it? Yes, I do. I said, oh. Some people in Canton, I don't know, named Sergeant Lank, they like to deputize themselves, but this bitch Daubertized herself.
You can see the plan to dehumanize somebody, Daubertized, to use a term to suggest some type of conclusion that has no basis in fact is an attempt to
dehumanize. I think that's a bit of a stretch, Hank Francis. Also, potentially get a little just for men's because your male pattern baldness is showing. Your petty paralegal in a pencil skirt should have told you this, but she didn't. I have questions.
Dehumanize her and limit her testimony and credibility without any basis in fact. In that case, it did not deal with the search of a tab and a suspended state in Safari. It didn't deal with the timestamp. It was an entirely different issue. By their analysis, if an expert goes into court on a motion on anything to do with data forensics, and the court says that issue is not admissible, they should be impeached when they go and talk about a totally different issue in forensic data analysis in another case. They have not shown any evidence that this issue has anything to do with her effort in the timestamp. They just use the word methodology. Her methodology was questioned in an opinion in a different court. Has nothing to do with her opinions here. What information do they have that her methodology in this analysis has been rejected by any court? What evidence do they have that the methodology used in this case is unreliable or improper? They don't have any. In fact, they called an expert themselves in the last case who tried to provide what he believed to be methodology, and they presented that. They proffered that evidence as reliable. No different on this subject. Herrera case is a totally different subject.
Your Honor, first of all, as the court has noted, the first trial is the first trial. This is this trial.
Yes.
The most important probative aspect, Your Honor, is I don't want to have to give away my entire cross in this argument.
No one's asking you to. I'm not asking you to.
There is parts of Ms. Hyde's slide that go to location. There's a good part of her slide presentation. I don't want to depart from the 227, but the good part of her slide presentation that she's going to present is on location. It is with regard to health data stats. So there are certainly aspects directly relevant. Here's the issue with the 227 in addition. There is, for her methodology, she's claiming a certain conclusion and opinion about the 227. There is no peer review. There is no article that she can cite to support her methodology to come to the conclusion that the 227 timestamp, one, doesn't exist anymore, or two, doesn't mean that the search occurred at 227. That's what she's opined on in her reports pre-trial, and that's what I anticipate she's going to opine on when she takes the stand. I'm entitled to cross her on that. We can't
Yes, my king.
What our witness has said in another proceeding is what this witness is going to talk about in this matter, and I'm entitled, and my client's entitled to have me confront this witness on what she's going to testify.
I want to tell you guys something. I was particularly jazzed out of my mind. Let's get close. Oh, I was unwell watching this in real time. I'm looking at Robert ALESSI, and his passion is palpable. You can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air at night. Yeah, that's what we sang. We sang it together. And he is a man of mystery. Is he the international man of mystery, just like Austin Powers? I think so. Okay. And maybe we know someone is Dr. Evil. Not to make it weird, but this was incredible. And his cross-examination of Jessica Hyde needs to go in a book. It's a masterclass, and he completely dropped a bomb on the Commonwealth today, in my opinion. Take it away, Mr.
And her
ALESSI.
methodology. So my point is, Your Honor, this decision, how you impeach an expert, one of the fundamental ways you do it is, and I don't mean to dehumanize her, I won't even use the term downwardized anymore. She's been deemed unreliable.
Yeah.
Attorneys who do experts all the time, that's the verb you use to shortcut, but I won't use it. I have no intention to dehumanize her. What I intend to do is to impeach her on her reliability. So in conclusion, Your Honor, the Herrera case, she was deemed not reliable. That's competency. You, in any expert that's been deemed that, you get to attack that. If the Commonwealth believes the case is not relevant, if Ms. Hyde believes it's not relevant, let Ms. Hyde defend that on the stand.
Woo!
Let Mr. Brennan make that point on redirect. But I can't have my client's constitutional right to confront her on the very subject matter she's going to testify on by anticipating what I'm going to provide for cross. I've given it, and I respectfully submit, Your Honor, this is basic cross of an expert witness, particularly when their methodology on data forensics has been deemed not reliable by a court. And one part is the location. She has in her PowerPoint she's going to testify.
Do you intend to introduce that, Mr. Brennan?
It's not significant locations. There are locations in the database that develop the opinion that the timestamp 227 is not related to the search. They're conflating the issue. She has not been deemed unreliable. It is the issue of the significant locations by that court that they found insufficient. There's no opinion from a court that she's an unreliable expert. And this is how they're going to distort it. Invoking the Constitution and invoking the client's rights has nothing to do with the analysis, that this is a totally separate subject, or an opinion simply wasn't let in a different court out of this jurisdiction. It wasn't this opinion, it wasn't this methodology for the opinions that she's going to offer in this case. And so if you look at the case, it is a totally different related item. It's as if a reconstruction expert went into a court and attempted to give an opinion about a medical diagnosis, and the court wouldn't allow that medical diagnosis in. In another court, in another jurisdiction, they would not be able to be cross-examined.
Quick question, Hank. What the fuck are you talking about? Did everyone wonder that right now? Did you scratch your head and say, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what are you talking about, a medical doctor? Because specifically, you have gotten a lot of allows in your hearings and in your motions from Judge Beverly Cannoni, specifically when you have not had MDs, including your dog bite expert, who is not a human doctor, okay, not a medical doctor, is allowed to testify and to the full breadth of their report. So that was a weird choice you made when you were standing up here and giving this argument in your little soliloquy, you queef.
Examined that in some court, there was an opinion they offered that was deemed inadmissible, unless they were talking about the very same methodology and the very same point. This has nothing to do with her opinion whatsoever. It's just an attempt to try to endorse the defense's attempt to suggest she's not credible by hiding behind the shield of a different judge and distorting the fact that it's two different methodologies, it's two different issues.
One last word. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. You just said credibility. This isn't a credibility issue.
No.
This is a reliability. This is the essence of what experts do. You have to show that your methodology is reliable. It's a red herring to bring up credibility. the court opinion.
And this is the equivalent of a superior court opinion, right? It's not an appellate
It is,
decision.
Your Honor. It is, Your Honor. It is the equivalent. I respectfully don't think that the level of the court is at all relevant. Any court, unless you get it overturned on appeal, then this would be a different matter. But this is a valid case, and even if it wasn't, it shall be in evidence. So there's two issues here, and I think.
And that is where Mr. ALESSI wanted to go, babes, is that what the information that Jessica Hyde is going to be testifying to comes directly to us from evidence that has already been presented to the jury and that the jury is going to be able to deliberate on. So he wanted to say, hey, boo, who's going to check me, boo? He wanted to pull a charade from Real Housewives of Atlanta circa 2011. But we know what happens next. Let us play, not pray, for the response of one Judge Polly Pocket Beverly Cannoni. On your
You have joined the meeting as an attendee and will be muted throughout the meeting.
4'11".
The host would like you to unmute your microphone. You can.
Oh, we're playing telephone.
All right. I appreciate the time. I appreciate people's patience. So in reviewing the rules, I look at Rule 2. So Master Rule of Criminal Procedure, Rule 2, purpose and construction. And so upon reflection and consideration, it says these rules are intended to provide for the just determination of every criminal proceeding. They shall be construed to secure simplicity in procedure, fairness in administration, and the elimination of expense and delay. Also looking to Commonwealth versus Durand. I don't have the site. I know it's from 2016, 2017. A judge, Robert Kane, was the trial judge. So because none of the purposes here in Rule 2 are served by the admission of the Maryland trial judge's decision, particularly were offered without notice to the court previously, excluding that decision, your rights are saved, Mr. ALESSI. We've got that decision marked for identification, and you certainly are free to cross-examine Ms. Hyde regarding her methodology. So that's my decision. So bring the jurors in, please.
I love that she didn't even know the exact date of the case, right? If this was the defense, God forbid anyone on Karen's team got up and said, you know, I don't know, a case from 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. Judge Cannoni's tiny Polly Pocket head would have popped off her little body, okay? She would have found herself enclosed, encased in her Polly Pocket world. But rules do not apply to thee, sweet Beverly.
You are unmuted.
Chrissy, do you want this under that?
Oh, do you want this? Oh, I'm looking up the laws. Oh, laws are for winners. Okay. Now, Jessica Hyde comes in. I want you to take note of this, babes. First of all, look at this. Okay. This is a daytime look of Jessica Hyde. I don't know if she went back after her direct examination, saw herself on the screen and thought to herself, I need color. Okay. I need a little color because I've been there. Okay. There are times in which you look at yourself and you think, I am a natural queen. And then you notice, oh, the camera is doing me no solids today. She doesn't have a ring light. Okay. She's not using a webcam of unknown origin from Best Buy. She's at the mercy of court TV. Well, she changes it up, and she changes it up in a dramatic fashion. She is Christina Milian from AM to PM. Woo!
That was opened at 227. So if you're using your phone and you go to your browser, you have some choices. You can just open an existing tab or you can open a new tab. A new tab was opened at 2:27 a.m. and that search was done there. Another tab, actually at 2:27, was moved to the background, and its last search at the time it was moved to the background was for I believe it's Raining Men, the YouTube video. So those two searches both exist as what's called browser state searches.
Yeah.
But browser state isn't about the time that it was searched. It's about the time that the browser tab that you opened either went to the background, or if it's never been moved to the background, the current search. So the time in the instance of the It's Raining Men video is the time that that video was moved to the background and the new tab took over as the tab that's active. And that tab, the last search done in that tab is How's Long Children Die in the Cold, because that database holds the current search. It constantly gets updated, and the time that the tab was either opened if it's the first time it's opened, or moved to the background if it's an existing tab.
Okay. Now, what she said is like mumbo jumbo. It's a lot. It's woman in STEM speaking, okay? I think that Jessica Hyde is very smart. I will never say that she's not. She's clearly a qualified expert. But what I will say is this. It does not make sense, babes, that when she is referring to this one tab, the one tab, Hockamock Sports, that was moved in the background, then it's not in the background. We're looking at, freaking It's Raining Men. And yes, you cannot close a search and you can move something into focus. That makes sense. But what has never made sense, and what Jessica Hyde confirms today on the stand, is that if the 227 search equaled how long TIDIE in CIKD, then I would believe it. Okay? I'd have a reason. Let's come close. I'd have a reason to believe, oh, maybe that makes sense. But you're never going to tell me that this search that she alleges was only conducted at 6:23 and 6:24 has a search in the middle, in the Oreo center, the vanilla, okay, is a completely different search. If we had 2 Oreo cookies, right, the chocolate cookies, and then the vanilla, you'd say, oh, okay, maybe there's some validity. But it cannot make sense that a timestamp would happen at 2:27 since it wasn't the first search made the morning, 4 hours later on January 29th, 2022. So if the 227 matched 623's search, then we could give the Commonwealth a check. But because it does not match, 227 and 623 are different. One of these things was not like the other. And that is where we, the people of the United States of America and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, say, oh, we have something in our pocket for you, Commonwealth. And it's right there. Don't spend it all in one place. Okay. Keep talking. Our
Did you put together an exhibit that would help explain some of the different
I did
databases?
put it together in an exhibit that would show
She
that.
did.
Yes.
Handing you a piece of paper, you recognize that.
I do. This is table.
Okay. All right. If I didn't do that right, Melanie, I'm sorry. So Haas Long is at 227. At 6:23 is how long to die in CIKD. Then at 6:24 is Haas Long. Does that make sense? The Oreo is in the wrong order. Fuckers. Not you, Melanie, her.
Table 1 from the first report I created on this case on the phone that I was told was for Jenna.
Is that the that will help you explain?
It will.
I move this to evidence.
Okay, and now we're going to go to 306. This is importante.
Results and tells you the file location, and then you would open that up in an external tool. And then some of the tools I used are not tools that parse the results, but are tools that allow me to manually look at the data structures. So they directly allow me to look at the data structures. And all of the tools I use in this instance are tools that do not change the underlying data.
Is it important or critical to go beyond the tools, presentations, and actually analyze the data yourself?
It is absolutely critical. Actually, in the NIST Scientific Foundations paper from the National Institute of Science and Technology that states the foundations of digital forensic science, it states that it is the examiner's duty to not only verify and validate tool results, but also to provide meaning to forensics parsed results.
Does software update regularly?
Oh, the software updates all the time. Typically, we get an update about once a month. And to be honest, it's not enough to keep up with how many new apps are developed and how many new phones come out and how many of your applications get updates, new features, for example, maybe in Instagram or Facebook. So the tools update very, very regularly.
When you use
Yeah, my perimenopause princess, I feel like the jury is completely lost. Babe, hi. If we didn't know everything, right? If we weren't students of pretrial 1.0, 1.0, post-trial 1.0, pretrial 2.0, and now up into day 11, I would be lost. But this is like for us riding a bike. We go back and we go, oh, we have questions because things have changed, things have evolved with certain witnesses. And I will tell you this, as much as this may be very confusing for a jury, there is no way that I believe that Jessica Hyde was as effective as she was in the first trial today. Okay? She got flustered. She admitted to problems in her report, which we'll get to in her multiple reports, and tried to redeem herself at the end with a "May the 4th be with you" joke. I got to tell you, I liked it. Okay? You know that. I'm a cheese ball. I'm absolutely a corn dog. But, there were errors and inconsistencies that she was unable to explain. And at one point, all of her credibility or reliability, I won't say credibility, her reliability is lost at the hands of attorney Robert ALESSI.
use the Celebrite tool to analyze the 227 search, did the search "How's Long to Die in the Cold" have a timestamp on it?
There are actually multiple artifacts for How's Long to Die in Cold. Remember earlier we defined an artifact and we spoke about it was one of the types of traces. So there are multiple traces for that How's Long to Die in Cold. Only one of them is associated with the 227 timestamp, but there are other instances of evidence of that was parsed by Celebrite.
Is there any danger for an untrained eye to rely simply on the software when looking at a search like this, "How Long to Die in the Cold," and seeing the 227 timestamp?
Absolutely. There's a really scary danger that an examiner who has not dug into the artifact and tested to see what it means may assume.
I get scary danger with you, ma'am. Okay? Stranger danger. I've taught my children. Do not type in "How's Long to Die in Cold" if no one is How's Long dying in cold.
Erroneously that 227 timestamp is the time that what is there is searched. The search in that field of that artifact is going to always be the most recent search in the tab, but that timestamp actually means either the time that that tab was backgrounded, or if it's the first time the tab's been opened, when it was opened. So you could erroneously implicate a search was done hours or some time period or even days before it actually occurred. Some of us leave our tabs open forever.
And that was it. That is her telling us the shits. But it has all been on this one tab. It was not different tabs because Commonwealth supporters came for my neck. Because this was taught to me by who? Mr. Nurse Kim. He might not help me with the Wi-Fi or my home IT, but he does manage a region of the United States of America. He knows his shit. And he said, "Hey, Kim, let me teach you something, babe. Let me holler at you, shorty." He didn't say that, but would have been nice. He said that didn't happen. Because if it was on that same tab, when she input something, it would have had to read the exact same spelling error as you're alleging from the Commonwealth merely 4 hours prior. It has nothing to do with how long the tab had been open. It's the artifact couldn't have been placed there because that wasn't the first spelling conducted at 6:23. I rest your case. I rest my case. I rest your case. We're done here.
You're teaching examiners and students. Do you teach about the specific concern and concept?
Do you teach about that?
Yes.
I don't care. Now, we're going to go to 341 to 343. Let's get her. Oh, she brings up the chart.
LKD, and how
Also-
long to die in cold that occurred on the morning.
Can everyone get their shit together with these off-centered charts? This drives me out of my tits. Literally, I can't stand it. Stop being slanted. I'm like this. I'm like, oh, what are we reading? Why can't this be centered? Is there no way to focus this appropriately on any of the files? God bless any
Of November 29,
OCD.
2022 on the device under examination.
If I look at this chart and I see in the top left, it says 2:27:40 a.m. And then under the search term, it says, how long to die in cold. How do I understand your opinion that that search didn't happen at 2:27:40?
This document is showing you the data that is a parsed result. The source of that artifact that you see in the last column is a little bit cut off, the browser state, the wall file. That database does how the data is stored. The search term has to die in cold with an associated MAC absolute epoch timestamp that translates to 2:27 a.m. That is what is physically stored. That does not annotate the meaning of that artifact. That was determined through testing following the NIST OSAC data generation guidelines for testing.
In the second row, we see a timestamp on the left-hand column, 6:23:49. And it provides artifact, the cache record.
Mm-hmm.
What is the term? And what does that mean under the search term?
iOS Safari cache records. A cache refers to something that a computer program wants quick and easy access to. When we search on our phones, anything, a lot of times.
I need you not to judge me when I tell you this. I said clear cache for too many years. Stop it. Okay, bye.
Be it in Google or in Safari, depending on what type of phone you own, it'll suggest what it thinks you're going to type in, right? So you can click it. It's trying to be helpful. In this instance, at 6:23:49, we have a cache record that indicates that Apple suggested the phrase, how long does it take to digest food?
And then
Hi, El Dente. That's when it was generated, I believe, when they had done the further extraction, right? Because the first time that a Celebrite report was done, in this case, it did not show that there was the how long to die in cold search. When they updated it to the correct version of Celebrite, that is when it showed the extraction, the Google search rather. And that was a huge step and momentum for the defense.
under that, 6:23:51, it appears it says a recent web search, and the spelling is changed. How long? TIDIEINCIKD.
So this, in reference to these two search terms, this is the first actual search that occurs at 6:23:51 a.m. Upon beginning the typing of that phrase, Apple provided the suggested search, and the person inputting into the phone at that time continued to type out a phrase and finished it as how long, TIDINCIKD, which that is available to us in the mobile Safari plist, which tracks recent web searches. And then we'll see 6 seconds later, we get that reference in that knowledge C database that I mentioned before. That's the next one.
So look, we see that that's the first one. Now, keep going, Lady Jane.
Term. And what does that mean under the search term?
Is this?
2:27 a.m. That is what is physically stored. That does not annotate the meaning of that artifact. That was determined through testing following the NIST OSAC data generation guidelines for testing.
In the second row, we see a timestamp on the left-hand column, 6:23:49. And it provides artifact, the cache record.
Mm-hmm.
What is the term? And what does that mean under the search term?
iOS Safari cache records.
Cache. Oh my God, he said cache. That's hilarious.
To the
Okay, now
bottom.
wait, here it is.
The
There
last
it is.
column. At 6:24:47, we again see how long to die in cold. And if you look in the first column, it's the same phrase. Is that a coincidence that it appears at the bottom at 6:24:47 and also appears up at 2:27:40?
As mentioned before, through testing of the artifact for browser state DB, that artifact will hold the most recent search that happened in the tab. So
The most recent search that happened in the tab. But babes, we know that the most recent search that happened in the tab was how long TI die in CIKD. What the fuck are you talking about, ma'am?
it is logical that how long HOS long to die in cold was searched at 6:24:18, tracked in that mobile Safari plist, repeated in Knowledge C. Knowledge made its tracking in Knowledge CDB, and then that table for browser state DB, which again has the time that the tab was opened or the last time it was backgrounded, and updated just the website that was visited. So the website, that is why we get that 227 time. That's actually, as far as the data storage is, the first thing I have in there, because I want to put it in chronological time order for exhibit purposes, is actually the last thing to happen because it's the update to what's in the tab.
You are.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for confusing the world. Feed the birds tuppence. What in the Christ just happened? Sorry, tiny Jesus. I apologize. I will say all of my Hail Marys. Okay. Now, next, we have got to get to the man, the myth, the legend, Bob ALESSI. Who am I? I can't call him Bob. He's attorney ALESSI. Now, 506. Find your, oh, wait, should we jam quickly? Let's have a moment. Let's have a dance sesh. Because I like to dance. Thanks for TV. You're on a lunch break. Okay. All right. Now, boom. 500. I remember.
Just asking if that statement is correct, not if you have other information, but is that
Oh,
statement
wait.
correct?
Can you?
Oh, did you see that look? Did you see that look to Hank Brennan? That assist? Excuse me, are you going to object to that? Oh.
Can you answer that? Can you answer that? Yes or no?
Did I read that correctly?
You read it correctly.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Oh, I read it correctly. And this is after lunch. Jessica Hyde. I see a difference. Tell me in the chat. Loveys, what do you think? We have rebranded. We have a bold lip. We put some color on. I don't know if that's a tinted foundation, but I'm living for it. She said, not today. I am going to go out with a bang, and a red power lip is how I'm going to take my power back. I don't know. I had many, many feelings about this. But again, the only person who can reference this the best is Christina Milian, circa 2002, AM to PM.
If we could, Your Honor, have a document that is put up already in evidence and publish Exhibit 39. Okay. And it will be, thank you. And if we could go to slide 82, please. And Ms. Hyde, if I could draw your...
Romy said that Jen gave her an update. And I don't believe that. I believe it was Gay Jeff. We all know that Gay Jeff is the actual stylist to every Real Housewife of Canton, Massachusetts. And he said, oh, bitch. He said, you look pale. You're looking very monotone on the screen. We need you to pop. And pop she did.
Attention to the entry that is, it says 3209 under app lock, but we know that the 00 is a 12. So it's 12:32:09 a.m. on January 29, 2022. And I'm going to read what it says in red. And this is a timeline of Mr. Whiffen. You know Mr. Whiffen?
I do know Mr. Whiffen.
And so he put in red, not us. He said device locked with lock button for the last time. Do you see that?
I do.
And you know that to lock a phone, you actually have to hit the side button with regard to an iPhone to make it lock. You know that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that is an interaction with a phone, is it not?
It is.
So that means that interaction with the phone occurred at 12:32:09, correct?
I did not review that specific artifact. I cannot attest.
Oh, how did you not? Why
to
did
Mr.
you not do that, Jessica Hyde? Because you
to Mr. Whiffen's exam only to my own.
So do you have any reason to believe that what is in evidence in this case that Mr. Whiffen has produced, and that do you have any basis to contest the fact that the device was locked with a lock button for the last time on the phone of John O'Keefe at 12:32:09 as you sit here?
I cannot contest it because I do not recall looking at that specific artifact.
Don't you think it would have been appropriate to be accurate as a digital forensic analyzer on the topic of the last of an indication of interaction with the device? Don't you think it would have been appropriate to look at that 12:32:09 in any of the tools you said you used on Direct?
I did not correlate that artifact in my timeline.
I understand you did, and my question is, You make a statement. Well, let me back up. Do you understand that in this case, as in many cases, that matters of seconds in activity can be determinative of a case? Do you understand that from your experience?
Absolutely.
So
Hold on, we
it's
better slow it down.
important, therefore, to get activity right for any data forensic examiner when they're issuing reports about activity, particularly of a decedent. Is that important?
Absolutely.
So isn't it correct that the statement that you make
Clutch 'em,
on
loveys.
page 7 of your report, that from that point, 12/20/50, there is no indication of interaction with the device, is incorrect?
I cannot make that without going back and reviewing and validating the artifact you just produced from Mr. Whiffen. I would need to validate that in order to respond to that.
But as you sit here, you have no basis to contest what Mr. Whiffen has stated, that there was a lock button on the side of the phone of Mr. O'Keefe a full 12 minutes after you say there was no interaction with the device. Is that correct?
I don't. I would have to review that portion.
Is there anything that had prevented you from reviewing that in that data before you wrote this report?
Not that I can think of. I would have to go and re-review that.
My question is,
I don't know if that artifact, I have not reviewed that artifact, so I cannot speak to an artifact I have not reviewed, and I did not, that is not my report, that's Mr. Whiffen's report, so I cannot speak to that without going back and reviewing that evidence.
Isn't the interaction with the device, a lock button, readily available to you in the data that you have and had in your possession when you wrote this report?
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, the horror, the shock and horror, loveys, because this is what Bob ALESSI, attorney Robert ALESSI, just did. Oh, because Boobalas, in what world would her report not have been available? Oh, you son of a gun. Sorry, just had to kill a skeeter. Why wasn't she reviewing all the information and all of the artifacts, the timestamps, the artifacts, the info? She had the same access from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. on January 29th, 2022 that fucking Ian Whiffen did. Mic drop. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Call me Pocahontas, bitch, because I'm just around the river bend. Oh, you got her good. Reliability 0%. Oh, she doesn't like that. She didn't like it. She didn't like it at all. 528. Let's get another magical moment from our guy, our hometown. Well, he's not mine, but he's New York. New York's finest, besides attorney Mark Betterow, is Robert ALESSI for 528. Bring us to church for tiny.
Again, to get back to the center of gravity, we're talking about a timestamp of 2:27:40 a.m., correct?
That is correct.
Oh.
And when you issued your first report in May of 2023,
sorry, making the a little
the
bit faster, Levy.
timestamp you were looking at was 2:27.
Sorry.
40 a.m. January 29, correct?
I was looking at multiple timestamps associated with the same two searches.
Right. So what I'd like to do, you said multiple timestamps. What times are in the multiple category?
What I was tasked to do was to look at the times, the Google search history, I'm sorry, not Google search history, the Safari history, which includes Google searches, associated with those two search terms within that 12-hour period. That was the particular task, not the task of looking at the 227, just for clarity.
Right. And I appreciate that, but my question wasn't that. My question was, I thought I heard you on direct examination, which is why I repeated the question, what I thought I heard on direct, but I'll ask you the question.
Sure.
You looked at and talked about on direct two potential times for a Safari search, which includes Google, one of which was 2:27:40 and the other one was 6:23 a.m. Is that correct?
I analyzed the meaning of those two timestamps.
Right. So we're just talking about two times, 2:27:40 and then 6:23. Is that correct?
So you are only talking then about the one that we're also talking about 6:24 a.m.
Okay. So
Eastern time for clarity, because Some of these records are in UTC, some are in local.
Fair enough. So you've got 22740, you've got 623, and you got 624 that you were looking at, correct?
There are other timestamps that exist in the realm of what I was looking at, but those ones, correct, are the ones that are relevant in this report.
Exactly. And that's what we're talking about.
Okay,
We're just talking about this report.
Yes.
And so if you look under relevant findings, at the very bottom paragraph, you say, second sentence, a Google search for how long to die cold at approximately 11:23 a.m. And then how long TIDIE in cold took place at 11:24.
That is in UTC. I apologize for not having the timestamp format there, but that is the UTC time. The UTC time equivalent in.
Oh, loveys, we have a problem. Mayday, Mayday. Call Star Trek. Call Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know who you need to call, but call them immediately. Because are you telling me, babe, that you put something in Eastern Standard Time? You said 227:40 it was in Eastern Standard Time, but in your report, because yes, we're talking about your reports, babe, not any other random literature. But you are saying that at 11:23 and 11:24 that Jen McCabe searched how long to die in cold, but at 6:23 or 11:23 in the report is how long TI die in CIKD. And she goes, oopsies, oopsie doopsies. I didn't mean to do that. I made an oopsie because I was writing that in the UTC time versus the Eastern Standard Time. And that's a big fuck up for your report that you provided to the Commonwealth. Like, you can't be mixing your time codes. I don't know. Again, I am not in IT, but that seems like if we're going bilingual here with time zones, things could get a little hairy. I don't know.
In Eastern local time would be 6:23 and 6:24.
So to be clear, in your report, you wrote 11:23 a.m. and 11:24, and you didn't put UTC next to it,
Correct.
did
They
you?
should. You are correct. That should say UTC of the.
Oh, you are correct. It should have said, but it didn't.
Correct?
There are other timestamps that exist in the realm of what I was looking at, but those ones, correct, are the ones that are relevant in this report.
Exactly. And that's what we're talking about.
Okay,
We're just talking about this report.
Oh, I went
Yeah.
back
And so
too
if you
far.
look under relevant
Sorry,
findings,
guys.
at the very bottom paragraph, you say, second sentence, a Google search for how long to die cold at approximately 11:23 a.m. And then how long TIDIE in cold took place at 11:24.
That is in UTC. I apologize for not having the timestamp format there, but that is the UTC time. The UTC time equivalent in Eastern
Oh.
local time would be 6:23 and 6:24.
So to be clear, in your report, you wrote 11:23 a.m. and 11:24, and you didn't put UTC next
Correct.
to it, did
They
you?
should. You are correct. That should say UTC. That is a typo.
And there's a significant difference between 11:23 and 227:40, correct?
11:23 is UTC, so its equivalent in Eastern time would be 6:23. The artifact of 227 is already in local time, so that is in Eastern time. So what we would be comparing is 227 and 6:23 and 6:24 to be appropriate. They're taking into account the data storage and which ones are in UTC and which ones are in local time.
I understand your explanation now.
Perfect.
But in this report,
Yeah.
there is no UTC time down. You have two additional times in addition to the two times, two different numbers added to the two, correct?
The UTC was a typo. It should say UTC next to those, and the chart shows all of those artifacts in EST and is clearly labeled that they're all in EST.
So you would agree that it's better stated to state it a different way than you have in your report?
I would say that both are equivalent. I should have had UTC there. But yes, it's easier for the audience to speak in EST. I would say forensics examiners typically communicate in UTC, but we translate for our reports.
So she admits we translate for our reports, which I didn't do in this one. Holy camoli. Get a cannoli, babe. You know what I'm saying? Judge Cannoni loves a cannoli. All right. So that was another shot. So now we've got multiple shots to the reliability, and she's admitting them. She's admitting to everything that Robert ALESSI is alleging her, right? And saying like, hey, you did this wrong too. And she goes, oh yeah, well, I guess I should have done it that way. Next, we have 614 to 619. Come on, Kimberly. There we go. Whoa, just kidding. Do start there.
Securing what I would call securing the phone, right? And then making sure that there's no data swipes. You talked about
I'm wondering if maybe this is showing how old I am, babes. But when she just tugged on her ear, did you think to yourself, Carol Burnett, or was she sending a code to a lover like someone else we know? I don't know.
airplane mode, Faraday bag, Faraday box, right? Do you know whether any of those protocols were followed for either the iPhone of Jen McCabe or John O'Keefe?
As I mentioned, I was not there for those processes. I don't have documentation of it. As mentioned, what started where my receipt of the device is from the image.
Exactly. So you don't know.
I can't testify to processes I did not or was not available or aware of.
Fair enough. But do you have a little bit of hint as to whether the phone of Mr. John O'Keefe was properly secured in airplane mode, a Faraday bag, or a Faraday box, based upon your own report of the iPhone of John McCabe? Can you determine that from page 5 of your report?
Obviously, there is data signals that are still being made and created. I believe that is what you're referring to. So the assumption is that I don't know at which point a Faraday bag is employed, but I also want to be clear. I don't know when, I don't have information outside of the digital forensics realm about this case. So I don't know precisely when the phone was taken into custody by law enforcement.
Fair enough. So assume that Mr. O'Keefe was deceased around the latest 9 a.m. on January 29th, 2022. Isn't there activity on that phone, health data activity, up to around noon of January 29th?
Health data activity would continue to be reported regardless of if the device was isolated from the network or not. Health data has to do with the movement of the device. So if the device was being moved even within a Faraday bag, that data would still be populated.
How about location data?
Location data is unlikely to be reported in a device that is Faraday enclosed, but I do not know what location data you're referring to, so I cannot speak in absolutes without having a better reference to the artifacts in question. If you're saying it's in my report, I'll look at it, but again, I never knew when the phone was seized, so it was not part of my initial analysis. Do I have permission to look at that time? Yes. Thank you, Your Honor.
And watch Bob ALESSI give
bear
her
with me. It's a big report, as you know.
It is a big
another
report.
hand. Tell
And
her
it was at
what
the bottom of my
page.
stack.
Pardon me?
All right. It was at the bottom of my stack. I had to lift up the other ones to find it. All right. So,
Your Honor, may I assist in pointing her to a page?
That'd be
Thank you. If you could turn to that report on your page 47 and continue on to page 50.
I do see incoming data that is consistent with the device not being Faradayed, such as the receipt of SMS messages, notifications from Ring, etc.
So,
Now come close. Loveys. I lost my shit. Okay? When I see this and I hear Jessica Hyde tell us that there was incoming notifications of Ring. Oh. Now, we knew that Trooper Garino had already testified in 1.0 that Officer John O'Keefe's upstairs, the laptop and the desktop, never were accessed for the Ring application. It never happened. There was no logins. Zero. Okay? Now, we know that Karen Reed gave her phone over to Mass State Police on January 29th, 2022. She just gave it over. There was nothing deleted by Karen Reed. Nothing. There was no Ring application on her phone because Mass State Police would have crucified her. But she was asked on cross-examination. No, not she. Garino was asked on cross-examination, did you see a Ring app on Karen's phone? Was there any searches? Nope. Okay. So we know that there was no searches made on a desktop, on a laptop, on Karen Reed's phone, and the only device that was connected to Ring was Officer John O'Keefe's cell phone. Well, listen to this. Today, a motion gets filed. It gets filed by the Commonwealth, and they want They want representatives to come up and talk shit. Okay? They want to know everything about the account. And I say, bring them. Get the fuck up here. Okay? They're in Seattle. Come on over. Come on over, baby. All right? I want to talk. Because as usual, Hank Brennan has not done his summer reading. He is not prepared because he's about to get his fucking ass handed to him. He has no idea that Trooper Garino has already confirmed Karen Reed never was able to get into John's freaking ring. She never deleted or had any videos or had access to any videos. And I tell you that to tell you this, loveys. Wouldn't it be some shit? Something. And again, I know nothing. But if Ring were to come and say that maybe videos were deleted on or after January 29th, 2022, then that would be exculpatory for Karen Reed. And it would be a smoking gun for the defense team. Because whoever had access to Officer John O'Keefe's phone at 6 o'clock in the morning? Kerry Roberts. She gets it. She gives it to a paramedic or police. And then the police give it to who? Trooper Michael Proctor. And if you, to just thinking about it, I have chills. Because that would mean unequivocally Karen Reed was framed. If a video, and I just got a stutter, okay, just thinking about it. If any video was deleted on or after January 29th, 2022, this case will be dismissed and Karen Reed will walk free and own the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I say this with all due respect. Bring it. Do it, Commonwealth. Bring the material witness of Ring app here because they're going to fuck you up, in my opinion. Okay. Hold, please. Sorry, levies.
The iPhone of Mr. O'Keefe was not secured in the manner you described before we got to this, as would be the best practice with regard to getting the most accurate data from a phone. That is, once it comes in, that it's to either be put in airplane mode, Faraday bag, or Faraday box. By your own report, you see activity.
I do see activity. It was not Faradayed. Faraday prevents wiping of the device and additional data. So actually, in this instance, it doesn't appear that the device was at risk of wipe because it was not wiped. And we actually have more data because we get to see the data that continued to come into the device. I'm not saying that's in accordance with best practice. I'm saying that that's what I see based off of what you just had me reviewing the data.
It sounds like you're trying to justify.
Oh, I'm not trying to justify.
Tell me. It sounds like you're trying to justify the fact it wasn't secured. Am I correct?
No, you're incorrect. I'm just stating we have, you asked if we had more data or less data. We actually have more data with it not being.
Oh, no, he didn't ask that. He didn't ask that. You put that in. His question was, is it best practice to put evidence into a Faraday bag? Walk it back, sister.
Being Faraday, but no, best practice would be to Faraday. I 100% agree.
My question wasn't, is there more or less data? My question was simply, doesn't your own report
Sure.
show activity up until noon on January 29, 2022?
Correct. And for clarity, my scope was till noon, so I don't know if there was activity beyond that.
Right, but as far as your scope goes, I want to be clear.
Yep.
There is activity on this phone.
Absolutely.
Which shows that it was not put in airplane mode, it was not put in a Faraday bag, and it was not put in a Faraday box, and that failure is not best practice.
Correct. It is not in accordance with the best practices. I agree. I would have Faradayed it.
Thank you.
Oh, did Attorney ALESSI just get a Commonwealth witness to say that they would have done something by policy and procedure that was not done by Mass State Police and the Commonwealth's case? Stop it. 10 points. 10 out of 10 would recommend. 100 points, actually. Next, I have 2 more clips, and then I've got to rock and roll, loveys. I'm so sorry. I'm the worst.
Time.
I don't, that wouldn't be inside my digital evidence, I don't believe.
And the last question is, the next movement at 6:15:14. Do you know if that phone was being moved by somebody or somebody else than Mr.
The
O'Keefe?
phone was in motion. I do not know if it could be by a person, it could be on a rail car. I don't think it was on a rail car.
Could be plane, by train, or automobile. Thanks, sister.
At all for why they concluded it was not reliable in that, I'm sorry, we'll
Oh, we got to wait,
wait
for
for
the...
the,
Thank you, I appreciate it.
and I'll repeat the question.
Thank you.
Do we think that that fire truck was free Karen Reed? No, but they might have been. So, hey. Oh, that went on for a minute. I'm sorry, guys. That's not good. That's not emotionally good for your ears. My bad.
Not asking you to read it, just asking whether or not they give any reason for the conclusion, not a reliable timestamp.
One moment, I'd like to review what they wrote. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Yes, they do. They state that further research since is the reason that they're doing it, that there's further research.
Did they state what that research is?
They don't, but
All right, but they don't state what the further research is.
that is correct. They
All right,
state
now
that
what I'd like
it's
to do is-
unreliable.
Move on to Axiom.
Mhm.
You were asked questions by Attorney Brennan, and you referred to Axiom as using a different parlance with a timestamp of carved, correct?
Celebrate uses this deleted demarcation or recovered demarcation. Axiom does not do that at all. They speak to how they recovered the artifact, be it that it was parsed. When I say parsed, I mean the item was where it was expected to be in the algorithm, found it, located it, and said it's here, versus carved, which is when they have to go into an unexpected area, such as slack space, which would be the areas that are not yet used or were previously used to extract the data from that.
We got lost in the sauce again. Hold, please.
Moved by the system and not recoverable from that database, but were recoverable from biomes.
Understood. Now, what I'd like to do is to address your answer in response to Mr. Brennan's questions, where you said that the issue with regard to Mr. O'Keefe's, or just generally your proposition, that there was no impact on your conclusion because more data had been obtained. Did I get that correct?
I believe my statement was there was no impact on my conclusion with the fact that it had not been in a Faraday.
Right. So isn't it, though, the case that when a phone's not in a Faraday and is therefore active, data can be overwritten?
Yes,
So if data can be overwritten when it's not in a Faraday, you can lose that data, correct?
is there data that we're concerned? Yes, theoretically.
Right.
Yes.
You talked about, in response to Attorney Brennan, the 12/31/56 steps, and you said the last, according to you, last movement 12/32/16. Do you recall those questions?
I recall the questions.
Yeah. To boil it down, isn't correct that that phone was moving at that time?
May I check the timestamp again? I
Absolutely.
apologize. There's
Oh, no.
a lot of timestamps going back and
Please
forth.
do.
12/31/56, is that
Yeah,
the?
that's the start. Yeah.
Oh, yes, this one there definitely is. Yes, yes, yes.
So, doesn't matter what kind of movement, but that phone was moving starting at 12/31/56 and still moving until 12/32/16 a.m. on January 29, 2022, correct?
Yes,
Thank you. Appreciate again you answering my questions.
thank you.
All right, Ms. Hyde, all set.
Thank you, Your Honor.
When I see counsel about scheduling, members feel free to stand up and stretch.
And that was it, loveys. That Oh, hello, OnlyFan. What say you? And then, wait, didn't he do one more? Hold, please. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the questions. Thanks for all your opinions.
Moved by the system.
Nope, that's not it. Sorry, babes.
Reevaluate that tomorrow, and I will see lawyers at sidebar asking for as well.
No, did they not? Where's the clip? Where did I put the clip of Hank? Oh. 6. Oh, I must have missed it. Oh, hold please. All right, we just got to do the one clip of Karen saying this because it's great. And I don't know what you guys think about it. I just wanted to ask your opinion.
3 is the email I have of a note. Thank you. Yes. It's easy to remember because may the 4th be with you.
When you first were asked to begin work on this case in May of 2023,
Just kidding. That was May the 4th be with you. That was that comment, which, like, listen, I found it endearing, but at the same time, babes, this is the, homicide trial of Officer John O'Keefe. So, like, maybe we don't, relate something to a Star Wars movie or, Cinco de Mayo. Maybe we're not like, oh, margaritas, let's go to fucking Chili's, North Nashua, home of the Presidente Margarita. Not the best choice you've ever made. Oh, 646 is clip 15. Okay, my bad. 646. Boom. Found it. Got him getting better.
may I?
Yes.
I would like to play clip 15, please.
Absolutely was Jen McCabe. Jen McCabe, it's me or her. Either I'm going down, Jen, or you are.
Oh. And what context was there? That felt, I remember watching that in the docuseries, guys, the 5-part ID docuseries, and I said, or documentary, whatevs. And I go, oh, but for real, because it all rides back to the police, the EMTs, the family of Officer John O'Keefe, everyone listening to the word of whom? Jennifer McCabe. So it has always been Jennifer McCabe versus Karen Reed. And it's wild and uncomfy that they're bringing this information and these clips in. But in this specific part where we know that Jessica Hyde kind of agreed that potentially it could have happened. The search could have happened, and your reliability is shot. Well, I'll be dipped. That's for another day. Anywho, all right, loveys, I have to go. I need to go to where? Court TV. I've got to sign on. But listen to me before I go. I got more. I'm going to do more. I'm going to do necklaces. I'm going to do Nurse Kim pearls. Okay? If you want one, I'll get you one. Okay? So I'm going to do them this weekend if you're interested. If you wanted to Venmo me, I think it's going to be like, I don't know if it could be, I don't know how much it's going to be for shipping. So I'm thinking 20, I don't know. Venmo me, I don't even know what to say, but I'm going to make them this weekend and I'm only going to have 40 because I can't, it takes me hours. The last time that I did the 40 for my event, I can't tell you how long it took me. It's embarrassing. But if you're interested, let me know. Let your girl know because you'll be Nurse Kim Perlin. And I'll send them out on Monday. Finally, I put up a pin on the chat today to send anything if you were feeling froggy for the lunch donations for Karen. When I went to court on Monday, she was so thankful because we sent her a lot, like 300, over 300, then almost 300. and then another 300, like all within 2 days. Okay. And she's got a lot of mouths to feed for lunch. And I send it right to her Venmo, and then I post it right on my YouTube in the live community. So if you want to do that and you want to make Thursday a little bit of a better day for the defense team, I know that they appreciate you. They love your faces just like I do. And I'm going on Court TV now. I'm on segments the first segment and then the third one, and then I'm done. Okay. So have the best night. Thank you for answering my FaceTime. I'll see you soon. Bye.